Hey guys, it's Carrie Millspaw again with my Forever Young interview series, and today in my hot seat is Carmen Marshall. I love and adore her. I'm so happy to have her today. She's not only just an international wellness coach, but she actually walks the talk and she lives what she preaches. And I love all areas of business that she does. And she's also been self-employed for 15 years. And for those that are looking into their career and lifestyle and what it is that they really want to do, we can gain a lot of insight from her today too as well. So grab your notepad and take some good notes. Hi, Carmen. How are you today?
Hi, Carrie. I'm doing really, really well. So honored to be on your program. So thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. And now let's tell our audience, you're actually in Miami right now, correct?
I am. Yes, I was living in Miami, or Maui and Bali for the past year and a half, and then just came and moved here about 6 months ago. So I'm now based in Miami, but we'll travel a lot still.
Okay, just where's Carmen today? It's like finding Waldo, right? Where is she today? Very cool. So that's where you're at. So tell us, how did you get into the wellness industry? Were you raised that way? Was your parents just very clued into natural health, or how did you stumble upon that part of the industry?
That's a great question. My mom was really, really natural. We had a garden. She baked her own bread, all that type of thing. So I probably learned a lot when I was young, just by osmosis, even though, you want to eat sugar when you're little, but I'm really glad for that upbringing. But when I was in my teens, that was during the 1980s, when it was the really high carbs and then the no fat. So I think during my teens, that just really messed up my system. And then also I was dieting a lot back then because, of course, I think for a lot of young girls, that's just such a concern that you want to be thin. So I really wrecked my system. And then in my 20s, I really had to figure out how to get myself balanced because I was never anorexic, but I would overeat. And then I didn't actually throw up, but I would overeat and then binge eat and then work it off with exercise. And then in my mid-20s, I was like, I need to stop doing this. So I really went on a journey myself to figure out how can I, because there wasn't a lot of information or doctors that you could even see. So I just read everything under the sun. I tried different things just to keep my blood sugar balanced. And then I essentially self-helped myself. And then that's when I got into health coaching because I realized there's a lot of other women out there who had done the same things to their bodies as well. And I don't believe in dieting. I believe in a lifestyle. And all about balance, not removing whole food groups like I did when I was a teenager. Sugar is not a whole food group, however, so that can and should be removed. But what I teach is really based on what it took me about 10 years to figure out how to balance myself and to feel vibrant. And from that, then you can reach your natural weight. So it's not through dieting, it's actually eating really well as a lifestyle. And what I teach people is proper supplementation, low glycemic eating, lots of small meals throughout the day, combining a low glycemic carb and essential fat, a healthy protein, lots of fiber. I bring lots of live food into it because I just love raw food. But I also teach in my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge, you don't have to be a raw foodist. You don't even have to be vegan or vegetarian, although I think we should all be eating more plant-based foods. But I do teach people if they love to eat meat, what are the better choices? So it's a very balanced program. And then because I did that for my whole life, then that's really what I started teaching people. But again, my biggest premise is that if we can eat to feel vibrant and healthy and alive when we wake up with energy, we don't have to grab a Snickers bar or a coffee at 4 o'clock to keep our energy up. If we're eating well and we're exercising and we're not getting sick, that will help you reach your ideal weight. So you don't even have to diet. That will actually get you to your ideal weight and you'll feel great.
So your recommendation is small meals throughout the day. Is that to keep your blood sugar level? Is that the whole goal?
Yes, it's something that we teach throughout my whole online program called the Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge. One of the main things is that you're eating 5 to 6 small meals per day. So you actually get to eat a lot. And we never want people to go hungry because as soon as your blood sugar drops, what the brain thinks is that it's starving. And so as soon as it thinks that it's starving, and this is why dieting doesn't work, then it just says, it's like you can't even think anymore. Your body just wants to get food because the brain is saying, I've got to get that blood sugar back up. So it's where really smart people can turn into silly people or stupid people and go and eat a McDonald's hamburger or they drive by and they're like so hungry. It's like your brain cells literally shut off because the brain, all it's saying is get me food. So if you can keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day, which is eating those 5 to 6 small meals per day in the right combination, you don't even have to calorie count. So say, for example, what we want to think of is our cells, like our whole entire body is made up of what we call macronutrients. So that's your low glycemic carbs, your proteins, and your essential fats. So if you eat just an apple, and we think that's a healthy snack, for a snack, your body's going to get carbs and good carbs, but it's not going to get protein and fat, and that's what your cells need. So an hour later, you're going to be hungry, and then that's what can derail dieting too. And here we think an apple is healthy. What I teach people is instead of just having an apple, have half of an apple and have 5 to 6 raw almonds with it, or a tablespoon of almond butter. And then right there, you've got your low glycemic carb, your good proteins, and your good fats. And then you won't be hungry until it's time for your next snack or your next meal.
I love that. Especially in the corporate environment, those that are listening to this call, you're kind of stuck somewhere for 8 hours. And that snack machine's calling your name at 3 o'clock, and it's full of bad choices.
And you're not only are you hungry, but you're stressed. I mean, you know what it's like in the corporate world. Like, you've got deadlines, you're in cubicles, you can't even breathe air. And so your body is even searching for pleasure from food. So that's why, the chips and the cookies in the vending machine, and marketers know this. They know that vending machine is just such an addiction. So if we can plan and we can have all these healthy snacks to bring with us, and what I do with my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge is we teach people, if you don't like bars, I'm a huge bar girl because I don't have a lot of time to do an apple on bars. So we have bars that we suggest are really good for people too. But we also give them, if they don't like bars, they can do something else. But that's just so helpful for living vibrantly. And the other thing I really teach people is you have to be really careful of marketing because, and for example, I just went to a friend that owns a juice bar, and she was showing me this wonderful product that had come from Boulder, and it was coconut chips. And so you're looking at it, and it's brilliant marketing, and you think, oh my goodness, it's raw coconut chips. You look at the back, and it's coconut chips with added sugar and salt. Mm-hmm. So right there, it's bad as a chip. So we have to be really careful. Marketers know that these beautiful coconut chips, we're going to think it's healthy when it's not.
Yeah, I do tell my clients marketing does definitely pull at you. They like to put no MSG or no GMOs and anything that's current in the news. They'll throw that on the front of the package every time. So yes, got to be smart. Be smart. So tell us. So other than obviously bringing snacks with us to work every day, or for those that are on the call, that obviously it eliminates the hormone craving and the roller coaster that we have, right? That's the other portion of, okay. So share with us some more about what are the best options. Like you mentioned raw foods. How do we start there for some of us that don't like them?
Okay. And I'm such a huge advocate of raw food. Because the more live food that we bring into our diet, and what I mean by that is our lifestyle, is you have the enzymes, it helps you feel more full, it's live food, and we tend to be a society that so much of our food is not live, it's been processed, etc. So the one really easy thing, because it's very hard to transition from no raw food into raw food. So, and I don't even think for most people going completely raw is even an option. Like for men, that would be really, really hard to do. But because their metabolism is so quick. But everyone can benefit from a little bit to a lot more raw food in their diet. One of the easiest ways is in your smoothies is to put spinach or kale. And you may not think that would taste good, but when you have a really good smoothie base, and I use a company called USANA Health Sciences because their products are just so amazing and they taste good. So they're healthy and they taste good, which is important. You don't want to have something that you have to plug your nose to drink every morning because that's not going to work. So I want healthy and yummy. But put a cup of spinach or a cup of kale in it. And especially if it's like chocolate or you can add a little bit of stevia, you won't even taste it. And right there you have the extra greens that for women, greens are anti-aging. They help balance your hormones. They help balance your brain. They help elevate your mood. That one tip alone can change everything.
Very cool.
Oh, actually, I do want to share one more thing. The other thing I think for most people is that when we love something, we need to fill the void with a healthier option. Because if we love something like chocolate or Diet Coke, if you quit cold turkey, it is so hard. It's just so hard. But if you can fill that void with a healthier option, it's much easier to make that health change. So for example, if you love chocolate, go to Whole Foods and find raw chocolate, because raw chocolate is not going to have the sugar, it's not going to have the highly processed stuff that is in normal chocolate, it's not going to have milk, and it'll normally, if it's raw chocolate, it will be sweetened with coconut sugar or palm sugar, so the healthier low glycemic versions. Or if you're trying to get off coffee, fill that void with hot green tea or even chai. So, and you can talk, there's many, obviously my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge is full of how do we take something that's not healthy and give you something that is healthy. You want to fill the void because nature abhors a vacuum. Okay? And it's just, if you're trying to quit smoking, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to not miss that old boyfriend that's not good for you, you have to fill the void with something good or you'll go back. Trust me.
Oh boy. So how do we fill the old boyfriend again? With chocolate?
That's the whole thing. Has to be raw chocolate and just one piece. You kind of go crazy with that one.
The whole bag of chocolate. I like that because that's the biggest problem why people go backwards is they feel deprived. So if you can fill that. So say I'm a client of yours and I drink 12 Diet Cokes a day. How would you start with me?
Okay.
There's so many out there. That's why I ask.
Oh my goodness, I'm so with you. It took me, even on this health journey, it was probably only 10 years ago I got off Diet Coke, and I was a huge Diet Coke fiend. I mean, because that was an alternative to Coke. So, as in the drink. And the other thing, then it took me about 4 or 5 more years to get off of coffee. So those were like, for me, it was a process as well. And that's another thing to think is health is a process. It's a journey. And even for me, like I'm still on the journey. And I think that's really important for everyone to know, like you may take 2 steps forward and then you take a step back. And then you take 2 more steps forward and you take a step back. And it's okay because in the grand scheme of things, we're moving forward. It's just that in a society, we want a quick fix and we also are really hard on ourselves. So realize it is a journey and don't worry about being perfect all the time. You know, again, like when I was trying to get off Diet Coke, I must have tried 8 or 10 times. So what I did is that I started using sparkling water and lime. And then that was an alternative. And even now I don't drink a lot, like rarely because I just feel better when I don't drink. So if I go to a party, people will always ask me, do you want something? And it's just so much easier to have a beautiful wine glass with sparkling water and lime in it because they think you're drinking and then no one ever asks you. And then it's quite funny when you see everyone else around you drunk and you're not. But that helped. It's a really good replacement for wine if you're trying to minimize that because there's so many studies now that wine really interferes with our blood sugar. And then, of course, diet, we have to get off of sparmatine. We have to get off Splenda as well. Splenda has chlorine in it, a molecule of chlorine. So they take out a molecule, the sugar molecule, and they put in chlorine. So we're putting chlorine in our body. So get off NutraSweet, all of this stuff. I mean, there's just so many studies. So sparkling water and lime. And then when I'm at home, I use a product called Stevia. But go to Whole Foods and get the liquid version by Sweet Leaf. There's no bitter aftertaste, which is what people didn't like for a long time. And then there's all types of flavors like lemon drop, root beer. I can't even think of them all. But you can literally make your own diet root beer, but it's not with NutraSweet. Then in Whole Foods or the like, there are also some sparkling drinks. I just can't think of them right now, but that are sweetened with stevia. And so that will help, and they're perfectly healthy. So that will help the transition too. And can you think of any other names? It's just, I've got them in my fridge right now. I just can't even think of them. But just look for stevia. That's totally fine to be sweetened with that.
I've been using stevia for years. So that's kind of been stuck there. I use honey a lot of the time in my tea or things of that nature too. But yeah, sugar doesn't live in our house either and hasn't for a long time.
Which is just so good. I mean, it makes me so sad when doctors tell women or men and mothers that diet does not affect your children or yourself. And so they're feeding kids sugar, which is part of all the behavior issues. Yes. So sugar, and there's so many replacements, stevia, coconut sugar, agave, honey. One thing with stevia, I think it's good to know, for everyone to know, it tastes really good on its own in cold drinks. If you have a hot drink, like for example, in my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge, we have a healthy hot chocolate recipe. As soon as it's a hot liquid, stevia as a sweetener tastes really thin. It doesn't have this full body taste. So you want to mix in a hot drink some honey and stevia, or agave and stevia, or coconut sugar and stevia. What happens is because you use stevia, you have to use less of the other things that have calories, but they're still lower glycemic. But the other things that have calories will give it a better taste when it's hot. So mix those two in hot drinks, and cold drinks are just fine.
That's great tips.
It's a tiny, yeah, because then I don't want someone to have a hot drink and think, oh, the stevia tastes terrible. I can't do this.
Those girls lied.
And one more thing that I think is so important with eating. So I'm a huge believer. So I teach personal development, I teach business, and I teach health. And I think health is so important because we're in a physical body. If we don't feel good, it affects everything. And men too, but especially women. If we don't feel good, it affects our mood, just everything. So that's why I'm such a huge proponent that we need to really focus on getting vibrantly healthy. That'll help our business, that'll help our life, our purpose, everything. The other thing, though, to consider with eating, if you have eating issues, one thing to really look at is obviously like keeping the blood sugar stable. That will help everything. Eating low glycemically, bringing in greens, bringing in supplements, everything that I teach. But I also do a big section in week 4 of my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge of what are you really hungry for? Mm. And this is something that I learned years ago from, and her name's escaping me. I'll get you the name, but she's very famous for this saying, what are you really hungry for? And oftentimes we're actually hungry for something spiritual. We're hungry for a purpose. We're hungry for connection. And we're using food to push down that feeling and to self-medicate. And so the number one thing that I always tell people when they're going through my Sexy Fit, let's try to figure out what you're passionate about. You know, is it dance? Could you get a cat? You know, do you need to heal something with your parents or your best friend? Because usually there's something in our lives, if we have eating issues, there's usually a spiritual or an emotional or a purpose or a connection issue too. So what are you really hungry for? And then also knowing our triggers. So I know my triggers so well. If I am overwhelmed because I have too much work to do, if I don't get enough, even though I love my job, I can tend to be a workaholic, as I know you probably are too. When we're passionate about what we do, we work a lot. If I don't get enough sleep, and so I do travel quite a bit, so I have to really prepare, especially when I go on 40-hour flights, because I know if I'm tired, I can tend to eat things that I wouldn't normally eat. So those are two of my triggers. And then also if I feel like my boundaries are being pushed, or I'm not feeling like I have choice in things, that's another trigger for me too. So it's really good. And I have everyone in my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge. We have a whole week called the Mind, Body, Spirit Week. You know, what are you hungry for? What are your triggers? And really going to more of the emotional side as well. Both are just as important, the physical and the emotional side.
I couldn't agree more. It's got to be the inner work because it always shows up on the outside. You've got to work on your insides, your inner emotional self. And that's why I love coaching women because I can identify with that. I went through that journey myself, but I'm sure you agree 100%. It's got to be, and I know my triggers too, and it's very similar to yours. Like, where's the chocolate?
Why am I craving chocolate? Oh yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night.
That's right. Yep. But I love that you pointed out that we don't think very rational when our blood sugar drops too. Because even me, I'm like, I know better. Why am I craving pizza? You know, or where's this coming from? And then the guilt shows up, and then there's that roller coaster ride of us beating ourselves up. So it can be eliminated. Just be proactive. So tell us more, Carmen. You're very well gifted in supplements too. That's really how I was introduced to natural health. Was holy cow, you can take supplements and already see changes in your health. I was blown away by that 10 years ago. So tell us, what should we do? Because it's overwhelming to a lot of people on this call, I'm sure. Where do I start? Do I take a multivitamin? What's your opinion on supplements?
Okay, I love that question. And I'm a little unusual, although it is changing. A lot of people that are really into raw food and vegan don't necessarily always believe in supplements. But I so strongly do, and I eat a lot of raw food. And I would probably say in the top 1% in the world because I'm so careful about what I eat. But even with that, I know I have to supplement. And the best analogy I heard, and I used to be like most people, I used to think you didn't need to supplement. Because again, my mother, I grew up with a mom that had a garden and always told us you can get everything you need from the food. And truthfully, if we lived in the 1900s and we lived up in the mountains and we grew our own food, we probably could get everything that we needed from food. But today, and this is so important, because of the over-fertilization, because there's no longer the nutrition in the soil, because of what we've done to the soil in almost all countries, the nutrition can't get into the food, and then the food that we're eating doesn't have the nutrition from the soil anymore. So literally, just to give an example, one orange, and they did this study on vitamin A. I don't know why they didn't do it on vitamin C, which would make no sense with an orange. But to get the same nutritional value of an orange back in the 1900s, to get the same vitamin A today, guess how many oranges you would have to eat?
Oh gosh.
8 oranges. 8 oranges. Just like, who's going to eat 8 oranges?
A whole bag for
I
breakfast.
know, and that's just like there's vitamin E, there's all the vitamins. Now it doesn't, and I'm very quick to tell people, taking a really good supplement does not give you the excuse to go then eat a Big Mac and think you're going to detox. So it doesn't work like that. You still have to eat as well as you can. Everything that I teach people in the Sexy Fit, but you have to supplement on top of that. It's just so important. And again, our cells are made up of everything we eat, so it's very important what we eat. But good supplements are actually nutriting the cells at the micro level. So like how the cells talk to each other, the cell wall, just everything that is at that micro level. We need the macronutrients, the food, but the supplements, the micronutrients, we need just as much. So what I recommend that everyone is on as a basis is a really good multivitamin and then a really good fish oil as their very basis. And then if their budget allows, I actually recommend a grapeseed and a vitamin C extract in combination with that. But usually for most of my clients, I get them to start off in the Sexy Fit. They start off with a really good multivitamin and a really good fish oil. Now, some things to remember, and this is why a lot of doctors will say supplements, you just aren't even worth it, you pee it out, because it's actually true. Most supplements out there are not good because it's a huge money-making industry, and it's only going to get bigger. So there's a lot of people out there selling supplements. Like, you should never buy a supplement at Walgreens. You should never buy a supplement at Costco. Like, that's not their area of expertise. I get clients that are like, but this fish oil is $14 for 200, and this 200 capsules, and this fish oil is, $60 for, I'm giving skewed things, but basically what I'm saying, if you're getting 200 fish oils for $14, the box is probably costs more than the fish oil. So never sell your health to the lowest bidder for supplements. Yeah. So what do you want to look for supplements? You want to make sure what I believe, and I went on a search to have a product partner because not only did it matter with all my clients that I was recommending, with my programs, I have Live Well and Sexy Fit coaches in 8 countries. So I had to be very careful that whatever product that we use through the programs, that we'd never have to make an excuse for it because we're affecting lives not only with clients, but with coaches around the world. So I looked for a company that followed pharmaceutical good manufacturing practices. So not just food grade. So I wanted supplements that followed a whole other category. I wanted supplements that guaranteed potency, guaranteed purity, guaranteed safety, and then also were effective, obviously, and then had lots of third-party studies. So not just the company saying that it was best. I wanted lots of third parties saying that that had no monetary interest. And then, did doctors approve of it? Was it in the physician's desk reference, things like that. So make sure, and if you aren't sure how to choose a supplement, find someone who can help you, because choosing the right supplement not only impacts your health, but you want to make sure that your dollars are spent in the right place too.
I couldn't agree more. I have a vitamin shop down the street, and even I can feel overwhelmed in that store. It's like a candy store for me, though. I'm like, ooh, look at this naturopath stuff and remedies, and I get all excited in there. But I know, I'm at least educated in this field. I can only imagine what someone is just doing what their coach told them, going in there blindly and freaking out. It is overwhelming. So no Walgreens, no Costco vitamins.
Yes. Don't sell your health to the lowest bidder. But there's, not the most expensive is not necessarily the best. But look for the ones that are a little more expensive, and then, ask questions. Or do they follow pharmaceutical GMPs? Do they guarantee potency? Is it a well-known brand? Are they making crazy claims on it? Like this has ginkgo berries from the Himalayan mountains that, like just silly stuff. Don't believe the marketing. So ask good questions. And my belief too is I'm not a big fan of people self-medicating with supplements of, oh, I heard Dr. Oz say that I need selenium and this person said I need this. Because you're taking all these products and you have no idea because cofactors matter. So I'm a really big proponent of getting a good multivitamin that has everything, your vitamins, your antioxidants, and your minerals, with someone who knows how to put that together. And then a fish oil that's guaranteed to not have mercury, it's guaranteed with its purity. And then from there, like say if you have adrenal fatigue, you might get something that's for adrenals but with your multivitamin, don't try to piece things together because that's really dangerous because you have no idea how, like there's a proper amount of vitamin K or if you're taking calcium, it needs to have magnesium, vitamin K, vitamin D, and boron to properly absorb. So, and most people are never going to, so find a good multivitamin that you can really trust, get a really good fish oil, and then maybe some of the other things are okay to get here and there, but don't try to construct your own multivitamin. It's kind of almost nearly impossible and would be really expensive too.
Mm-hmm. My father, when he went on his health kick, he had a 6 bypass about 20 years ago. And of course, he is just amazingly healthy now, 20 years later. Still outdoorsman, out in the woods, climbing trees, hunting, you name it. He does it all at 74 years old. But he did too. Like every book he read, every Dr. Oz show, Carrie, I need CoQ10. Where's that at? Where can I get this? I mean, he was like chasing supplements every time he read something on it. So your advice is really to just start with a basic multivitamin and a fish oil. And then if you have certain things show up in your life, deficiencies, then try to somewhat curb that with the proper. So should they actually research this on their own? Or I always recommend working with a coach, always helps too. What's your suggestion?
Yeah, I would work with someone who really knows multivitamins and then, even going to, like, obviously I have a product partner that I chose for myself and for my company, but with someone, just make sure, ask around a few people, look for people that you know are healthy and you want to emulate, find out what they're taking, and then also doctors or people that you really respect. Like, for example, Dr. Christiana Northrup, who wrote Woman's Bodies, Woman's Wisdom. When I was researching what company I wanted to choose, in all of her books, she recommended the same company. So that gave me a tick of, that was like another confirmation, that's a good company. Because I really respected her view on women's health. And she believed like in the vibration of things plus the science. And I'm very much that way. Like I have a foot right in the Western world and one in the Eastern world. So it's like I love the meditation and the yoga, but I'm like, I want the science too. So I look for people who are similar to me this is key. There are so many doctors with books out there that have pictures of themselves on the book and they do not look healthy. And I don't care how many degrees they have after their name. Please only follow a doctor if they are vibrantly healthy. And this goes for a chiropractor. Like I'm not picking on just doctors, but a naturopath or a dermatologist or anyone. Look at them if you go and you're going to get a pedicure or manicure or you're going to a hairdresser, like does their hair look nice? Your personal trainer, are they fit? So please do not, no matter how many credentials they have to be living it. And that gives you an idea whether it's actually working too.
Like you.
Thank you. Well, there's some things you probably couldn't come to me for advice for. I'm trying to think of something.
Well, you're vibrant, though. You're vibrant.
I'm vibrant. Yes, and I love, it really is a combination of being proactive about your health and loving what you do. I think those two things are really, really crucial. And also being willing that your body changes, I feel, every 3 to 4 to 5 years. So every 3 to 4 or 5 years, I'm like, this isn't exactly working. Like I need to start, because now I'll be 43. So there's different things that come up when you're 43. Or and this is a good thing, if things aren't working, ask yourself, am I not doing some of the basics? So say, for example, whenever I'm feeling a little tired, my first question is, am I drinking enough water? And more than often than not, I'm not, which is crazy. So even for me, whenever I'm feeling a little off, I just think, am I doing the basics? I'm not drinking enough water. I'm not getting enough sleep. So that puts me, we can actually be our own guru, which I'm a big proponent. Like we actually know a lot of the answers inside.
Yeah, the key is to get quiet so you can hear your own inner psychic, and some of us just don't get quiet.
And then we have to listen.
That's
And
right.
I can do it.
That's right. Maybe that's why we don't get quiet. We don't want to hear anything. Block it out. So let's go into exercise. Activities. I call it being active just because I prefer to play outside all day long if I could, then go to the gym. But tell us what you do. What do you do for activities?
All right. I'm one of those people who loves exercise, like, and not things like CrossFit or boot camps. I'm not that type of girl. Some people love that, but I love dance, and I actually love weights, and I love running. Like, there's many different things. So I have a formula that's really worked for me throughout the years that I teach on my challenge as well, and it's called 3 Sexy Fit 3, 2, 1, 1. Okay, so again, 3, 2, 1, 1. And what it is 3 cardio days, 2 weight-bearing days, 1 mind, body, spirit, and 1 day off. Now, that's for someone who's very active, so say like you and I, but if someone's starting on their exercise journey, which many people are on my Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge, it's 2, 1, 1. So yes, I said that wrong. 2, 1, 1, 2. So 2 cardios, 1 weight bearing, 1 mind, body, spirit, 2 days off. Okay, and then when you're starting, you would start with 30 minutes, and then you of everything that I talked about except for the day off, you're having the whole day off, and then you gradually go up to 40, 45, and then 60. So my routine is I have the 3, 2, 1, 1. So I have 3 cardios, and those tend to be 2 dance and 1 running. Okay, because I love dance and I teach Zumba and I absolutely adore that. I love running, and that's what I tend to do when I'm traveling, because I can't always get to a Zumba class or any type of dance class. I was just in Belgium, and fortunately all of my coaches and I went to a Zumba class in Belgium, which was amazing. But when I don't have time, and I did that in Belgium too, I just will go out for a run, because you can always run wherever you go. And that's just a good go-to thing. And running or dance or exercise, it just clears your mind. I actually knew from a young age, if I did not exercise, I was not my best self, because that somehow beats depression, beats anxiety, just everything. So then I do 2 weights, and that's what I started off, because I'd never done weights when I was in my teens, but I think it was probably in my late 20s I started with the Les Mills body pump classes, which are weights set to music in a fitness class, and that really taught me the form of weights. And for women, it's so important because weight-bearing exercises increases our bone density. It also increases our metabolism. So we think that cardio increases our metabolism, and it does a little bit, but it's the weight-bearing exercises like weightlifting that increases your metabolism. And you'll actually lose weight quicker, and you'll look better when you do weight training. And you won't bulk up. Like I've done weight training for I don't even know how many years now, and you just can't bulk up unless you have testosterone or you're taking something. Okay, so you don't have to worry about, you'll stay lean. If you're worried about bulking up, you just want to do lower weights with longer reps. Okay, so again, 3 cardio, whatever that is, but make sure it's something that you love. Like if you don't like running, you don't like dance, don't do any of those things, for goodness sake. Go run and chase a ball outside. Like go hiking, go mountain, whatever it is outside. Then your 2 weights, then 1 mind, body, spirit, so yoga or Pilates, something like that, and then 1 day off. And I can't even tell you how crucial that 1 day off is. For women that are trying to lose weight and get healthy, sometimes they think, I should just do 7 days, but you have to have that day off for the body to rejuvenate and repair, and you'll actually lose weight and you'll get more fit by taking that day off. So really important to have that full day off. And then again, for new people, remember it's just 2 cardios, 1 weight training, 1 mind, body, spirit, and take 2 days off in the beginning. You never want to have 2 weight days back to back, because your body, your muscles have to. What happens when you're lifting weights? You're actually tearing down the muscle, and it sounds horrible, but that's what you're doing. The day that you're resting, the muscle is getting repaired. Okay, and then it comes back stronger. So you never do two weights side by side. You would say for example, like, what day is it today? When you work for yourself, you forget what day it is. What day are we? It's Saturday. Oh, so Saturday I do Zumba, and then Sunday I usually will do a version of 5 rhythms or Mia, okay, which is it's a more a mind body spirit practice. And then on Monday I take off. That's I usually take off because it's my busier work day, so I don't actually exercise that day. And then I'll do again weights. Then I'll do another cardio. So I space it out throughout the week.
I love that. I don't think you have to convince anyone to take a day off in the beginning. They're probably counting the minutes till that day comes up. Because it is an adjustment, definitely.
Oh my goodness. And you release a lot of, and this is why supplements are really important too. When you're actually exercising, you're actually producing, it's hard on the body. So you have to rebuild everything. You're producing toxins. And so you need more vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants when you're exercising. So it's even more important to be eating healthy and to be taking a really good multivitamin.
Couldn't agree more. So tell me about the mind and body kind of exercise and why that whole spiritual type of exercise is important.
All right. I just love that area too. So I love dance. So one of my biggest mind, body, spirit practices is either Nia or another practice called 5 rhythms. And both of them are more of a freer dance that is very similar to yoga in it's more of a connection to spirit and to source and to feelings and emotions, but it's done through a dance form. So that's one variation for people who like to move. Then, of course, yoga is amazing. And then Pilates as well. Any of those that just slow you down and it's not like set to music that's boom, boom, boom. You actually can relax. It's just so amazing for your body. And yoga, as we know, I remember my former husband, who thank goodness we're really good friends, but I remember him telling me maybe 15 years ago, he was like, yoga will never become mainstream because it's too alternative. And what is yoga now? It's like, and why do we gravitate to it? We need to slow down. Like, I think as a whole race, we're like, we have to slow down and take a breath. So yoga is just amazing for that. Even if you're not doing the poses properly, just the fact that you're slowing down and you're having shavasana, the laying down at the end, just that is helping you. And then I also like Pilates because it slows you down as well, and you have to do the movements really slowly. And that's just, as a practice, if we can slow down more in our life in general, that's just so much better. And you spoke to this. Anytime we can actually get the body to quieten, then our mind quietens, and then we connect to source naturally. And that's really where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole other big topic.
Yes. Well, another favorite of mine. The spiritual side, for sure. Yeah, that's important stuff. Very cool. I love it. Makes me want to go do yoga right now.
like drooling too, thinking of it.
I think I need to do that today. You do so much, and I want our audience to know that the Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge, of course, is beautiful, and you kind of walked us through that to kind of get an idea what it would be like to be coached by Carmen. What are the other areas of your business that we also can find out about today?
Oh, I'd love to share that. So my business name is Create a Life You Love, and then there's 3 divisions. There's the health side, which is the Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge. Then I have the business side, which is essentially people who want to have a health business. So, they actually can use the Sexy Fit Nutrition Challenge or brand it under their own name as well. And then they're Sexy Fit or Live Well coaches, or they can brand it around their own name too. So essentially I teach them how to build a health business just like I have. That can be done online. It can be done anywhere in the world. I spent the last year and a half, as you know, in Maui and Bali running my business. And what had happened is 4 years ago, most of my business was face-to-face or large seminars. And I realized if I didn't move it online, I wouldn't be able to live where I wanted, and my coaches wouldn't be able to live where they wanted. So I took everything online 4 years ago. I did a fantastic online marketing school called B School through Marie Forleo, and I still take women through that every year. We've got about 30 people going through it this year. And then through that program, I moved everything online 4 years ago. So people who want to have a business like I do, that's the business side, and I train you how to have a business like I've done over the past 15 years now. And then I have, so you have the health side, I have the business side, and then I have the personal development side. And those, as we were talking about, I know you love those three things too. Like if someone had to say, what is it that you love? It's health, which is for me, dance and nutrition. It's business, because I love helping people be in business for themselves, because I think that really is what gives you financial freedom and freedom in your life. And then I love personal development. And so that's the third area. And we actually have our Create a Life You Love retreat in Bali coming up May 8th to 16th. So that's about, 6 weeks away. So I take people there for those, it's actually 8 days. And so for 8 days, they're able to be in the magic of Bali, which in and of itself, I wouldn't even have to say a thing, and they would get transformed. Because Bali is it's so magical. So they can get away from their home, they can get away from every worry in their mind, completely go to a new place where they're pampered, they can relax, they eat the best food in the world, they're in this beautiful environment, and then they have a chance to ask themselves the really important questions in life. So such as, what is my purpose? What do I want to live my life? What do I want to be remembered for? How do I want to design my life? What do I even want? Can I do this? And so we spend 8 days helping people figure out their purpose and what they want, and then how to design that in a super relaxing atmosphere. So it's not like to-do lists. It's nothing like that. It's actually getting people to have a break, to ask questions, journal, and then leave it having a really big sense of their purpose and how to really design their life around what inspires them and what their values are. So that really their life, because I know we've talked about this too, life is so short. And this is our life that we're meant to design and live it the way that we want to. So that's one of my favorite things in the world, because I can have people for 8 days, and truly when they leave, they can have a sense of, okay, this is what I want my life to be about, and they have a pathway for that.
And I think you chose 2 resorts or something of that nature, and there was some massages involved. I mean, it sounds amazing, and that's true. That's when you get quiet and get out of your crazy environment, all sorts of fun things show up. So I love that. You're gonna do this more than just in May, right? For those that are listening that can plan for next year, possibly.
Yes, we only have 5 spaces left for this year, so there's still time for this year. But we'll do it again next year. We're not sure of the date and the location. It most likely will be Bali again, because I just love Bali. Bali is a very magical, and a lot of North Americans have never been there. So it truly is this like little oasis in the middle of Indonesia that's just so different. So, and as I said, it's in and of itself, it's just magic, let alone if you can have a retreat there. So most likely it will be there next year. But originally when I started these retreats, every year I wanted to go somewhere different. So go to Italy, go to Brazil. But I think I might stay this year, at least 1, if not 2 more in Bali, because it's really special. And they have all the raw food there, because I'm such a big thing. Like, I want people to be nourished by food. And part of the reason why we do 2 massages, well, this is the other thing too. Bali is so incredible, I couldn't even just choose one retreat. I had to do 2. So we're up in the rice paddies in the jungle, and then the second part we're down by the beach so people can really experience Bali as a country, which I think is important too. What my whole vision was, get people away to create a life they love, but also go to a country that they need to experience sometime in their lifetime. So we're going to have like temple excursions. I'm trying to get set up with a woman shaman who's just incredible. So there's a whole bunch of neat things that we're going to do within the special country of Bali too.
It sounds amazing. Oh, I definitely have to put this on my bucket list.
2015, if not this year. Might be a little soon because I know you got a lot going on, but next.
No, I've never put miracles past my life, though. I've had interesting things show up. You never know. You never know. Well, we also have, as we kind of come to a conclusion with our special time with Carmen, you have 2 free ebooks today to share with our audience. Those 2 topics, I believe, are the top 5 mistakes women make in creating wealth and how to fix them. That's the part I like. In case you already screwed up, she's got a solution. Which I kind of raise my hand. I need to download that now. And I think you have the 5 biggest health mistakes women make and how to avoid them too. So that link is included in the body of this email, so you guys can get in touch with Carmen. And of course, by all means, follow her. If she inspired you today to even create your own business, I mean, because that alone just brings immense joy and purpose to your life. It goes back to what are you really hungry for? A lot of the times that's what it is. It's not that chocolate bar. So tell us, any final thoughts for our audience today that you have, Carmen, for us?
I think everything we've talked about just really boils down to my whole probably mission in life is I just want people to know that they can create a life that they want in every aspect and with balance so that you have your health, you have your wealth, you have your purpose, you have your passion, like everything. And so that's really my hope that in some part of this interview today that you have a sense that, wow, I can do this too. And my background, I didn't come from a wealthy family. I came from a really religious family that didn't believe in money. They didn't believe that you could create a life you love. So I really had to transform my thinking. But why I say that is everyone can do it. But you have to be willing to learn, be willing to be open, be willing to find a mentor that you want to emulate, and then start the journey and know that you can. Rome wasn't built in a day, though. And just know that it's going to take a little bit of time, but every step of the way, have fun, because now is the only thing that matters. And don't be hard on yourself. Actually, you mentioned something like if you fall off the wagon with your eating, the worst thing you can do is beat yourself up. You know, what I learned early on is just to get up in the morning and say, okay, that was yesterday, and realize what triggered me probably, like write down what triggered me, but then get up in the morning. And the best thing I can tell you actually is let go of guilt, write down the triggers so that you can help prevent it in the future. But the only thought that should be in your mind as soon as you wake up, what would a healthy person do this morning? What would a healthy person do today? Oh, they'd drink a ton of water first thing in the morning. They'd have their lemon and their cayenne pepper with their hot water. They'd have their smoothie for breakfast. They'd be eating lots of greens. That will replace any guilt and get you on to being what a healthy person would do. And that has served me so well. And trust me, I have fallen off the wagon tons of times in this whole journey. But it's the whole thing in our whole life. Take 2 steps forward, 1 step back is okay, but keep going forward. So yeah, that's probably in all is just you can totally create a life that you love in every aspect. It's not an either or world. And I think you're probably familiar with the saying, it's an and world. And keep dreaming, keep believing, and hang around people who believe in you and who support you. There's so many people out there that will tear down your dreams and not believe in you, and there's enough people out there that will support you. And I know I definitely will. Even there's all of my programs, the Sexy Fit, my business program, the Create a Life You Love retreats. But even if you just need something for free, the 2 ebooks that are on the bottom of this email, but also go to my Facebook every day. Every day I post an inspirational message. And even if something free can help you, take my free stuff. And then I hope that will help you in creating a life that you love. That's what you're here for. And then from that, you can not only love what you're doing, but you can give back to the world too.
I love it. I love it. Awesomeness.
Thank you so much for having me. It's just been beautiful to interact with you. You're just a beautiful spirit. I'm very honored to be part of this.
Thank you, Carmen. It's right back at you, my dear. Right back at you. Thank you so much. And thanks, guys.
Bye.